Hello and big warm namaste from Toronto, Canada. Although it's very cold outside, we send you our warm greetings. I'm Rahmat Sobirov, managing lawyer at Sobirovs Law Firm, a boutique business immigration law firm based in Toronto. And today we have an amazing topic about Indian entrepreneurs who are coming to Canada in many numbers. We help them to come to Canada. We bring investments and great, bright individuals from that beautiful country. So stay tuned. At the end of my presentation today, I will answer your questions and I will make an announcement about our upcoming events in India. So Sobirovs Law Firm is planning to come to India in spring, so stay tuned. Welcome again. I hope you're joining me from India and many other parts of the world. Today's topic is how to start a business in Canada from India in 2023. We will delve into a case scenario. So our presentation is based on real life facts and real cases, so that I'm not just talking about theory. I will show you the practical application of that theory. So how to build a business in Canada from India. I have a quick presentation. Usually this works that way, that if you're joining me for the first time, I make a quick presentation and then I get to your questions, because your questions will teach me a lot and I hope I can share my knowledge with you. And of course, this is all general information. And if you get disconnected, please come back to the same location. Start typing your questions while I'll do my presentation, and we will go into more detail with your questions. So how did I come up with this topic? Because first of all, almost 60% of our members of our audience that are watching us on a day-to-day basis are from India. So this is a big country, big, very fast developing country with great minds, and Indian immigration diaspora is one of the significant ones in Canada. So there is a very sincere and very long-lasting relationship between Canada and India. And in our success stories, you can see at sobirovs.com website, there are many success stories that we managed to bring Indian entrepreneurs to Canada, let them settle down, and then they will move forward with their permanent residency. So starting a business by an Indian entrepreneur has been the topic across our practice. So that's why this is a very, very close topic to our legal practice. And today we will look into the visa officer's notes. So we will be analyzing what does visa officer think when he or she is evaluating an application from an Indian entrepreneur. Okay, so that will be an example of ICT, Intra-Company Transfer. But of course, when you go to our website, there are many resources specifically for Indian entrepreneurs. For example, you can go to country guides and click on India. You can read detailed information here. And as I said, we are coming to India in spring 2023. Feel free to reserve your seat, and more information will be coming soon. And also success stories. Go to success stories. Recently we published a success story of a Punjabi business owner who came to Canada through ICT. But today's topic, today's case scenario will not be from Punjab, but it will be from India overall. Okay, so let's start. First and foremost, maybe you heard about ATIP notes. ATIP notes are the notes on the embassy side that usually are not released to the applicant. The applicant will get either an approval letter or a rejection letter. It's a standard letter with standard wording, so it gives you a little bit of idea why an application was approved maybe, or why it was mostly rejected, right? So whether it's rejected or approved, it's our practice at Sobirovs Law Firm. We get ATIP notes from the embassy or the visa office that decided on that particular case. Why? Because there's a wealth of information inside those notes. And we analyze, we improve ourselves, and for the next application we become more knowledgeable, right? It's a very good secret sauce into our successful applications for our clients from India and from other parts of the world. So we take ATIP notes. It's Access to Information and Protection and Access to Information and Privacy Act notes. So these are the notes that visa officer put while discussing or while deciding on your particular visa application. So today we will read the ATIP notes of one of our successful clients from India. So a very generic, because I cannot discuss the personal information. However, I will make sure that the privacy is protected, but we will derive necessary information from those notes. Okay, so the application was done in last year in September, and the primary office that decided on this case was Case Processing Center in Edmonton, Alberta. However, the secondary office was New Delhi, Canadian Embassy High Commissioner in New Delhi. That's why sometimes you see New Delhi as a primary office, sometimes it's CPC, Edmonton, but the logic, the analysis doesn't really change, okay? Now, the work permit was under the code, LMIA exemption code, Intra-Company Transfer, C12. The intended occupation code was 13000. The director, the position name was the director, the business head of the new entity related to the original Indian company, right? So here's the decision that is very the one that you want to get in your application. So CPC Edmonton analyzed, and then they concluded that based on the information and evidence presented, that's the key word, information and evidence presented by the lawyers, I will add that, I'm satisfied that the applicant meets the requirements as an intra-company transferee under section R 205A, but that doesn't matter for you, but he satisfies the intra-company transferee requirements in an executive capacity. So this is what you want to get as a lawyer. This is what you want to get as a client. So what did they analyze? First and foremost, this is the keyword, as I said, the information provided, sufficient information provided about the applicant, the company, the corporation, the mother corporation, and the subsidiary or related company in Canada. So the information should be satisfactory and in abundance, I would say. Don't be, make sure that visa officer has an easy day in analyzing your information. So what did they analyze? They first analyzed the duties of the person that our submission letters, the letter of employment, everything, they analyzed, okay, is he suitable for executive position as they claim to be? So securing a suitable location to house the company's business operations, that's the responsible. So you can read, formulating and developing business and marketing strategies within the short-term and long-term objectives. Full discretionary day-to-day management, the management authority of the new Canadian entity. That's a hint. There's a related entity in Canada to which the Indian specialist is being transferred, including planning, operations management, establishment, and oversight of Canadian subsidiary, exercising financial control. It's not just somebody being sent from India. This is someone who has the authority to run the business in Canada on behalf of the Indian corporation, right? Develop processes to track cost savings, metrics, performance, and so on, recruiting, hiring, and firing people, employees in the Canadian operations, overseeing the company's financial obligations, overseeing company's customer service performance. So he is the big shot. He's a big guy, not a typical. So remember, intra-company transfers, this is a possibility for those who are the owners, the senior management, and the specialized knowledge people. These are not ordinary workers, right? These are big shots making big decisions. Okay, and coordinating with the Canadian team to adapt systems, standards, and processes of the Indian parent company. So make sure that this is always make sure it's connected. Two entities are connected. These are not. That's why intra-company transfer is possible. To reflect the needs and standards of North American markets. So the idea here, there is a hint a little bit here to the business plan of the Canadian operation. The business plan is to enter the North American markets and maintain the standards, customer satisfaction, and so on. And finally, representing the company to our current customers and attending to their needs. Okay, this is the analysis of who the person is. Because without understanding who the person is, it's a tough argument to make that this person is necessary in Canada and he is necessarily transferred to Canada. It's not just offering him a Canadian tour, right? Okay. And now the key question, and please start typing your questions too. I am sharing the notes. These are rough notes, and we are delving into the analysis of actually what does the visa officer want in your application. Let's see. These are the wordings of the visa of the deciding officer, the visa officer. So it's not my words. Applicant is requesting work permit under LMIA exemption code C12 as an executive. Applicant is employed by XYZ company in India and is being transferred to work in a similar capacity for XYZ company in Canada for 2 years. If approving, work permit may be issued for a maximum duration of 1 year, C11 work permit for startup. Because this is a startup operation in Canada, that's a 1 year work permit which can be extended based on the need of the company. The eligibility, now they are going into eligibility and analyzing it, right? These are the notes, internal notes of the visa officer. Experience required. Yes, the experience is there since 2015. So this is a guy who has grown within the Indian company, right? Location per offer of employment to be decided. That's okay to not know where your location will be in Canada. It's the C11 ICT work C12 ICT work permit is a federal immigration program, and under this you are okay to give some uncertainties in a way that location could be Vancouver and Etobicoke, Ontario, right? Per submission. So we drafted a substantive submission letter analyzing and discussing every single aspect of his employment in Canada. But we acknowledged it's to be decided, Vancouver and Etobicoke to be decided. Submission demonstrate essential function, that the legal submission by the lawyers, that is significant to the achievement of organizational goals. Remember this, what is being aimed at, what is being proposed to achieve in Canada. These are all forward-looking statements. However, you need to back up with solid evidence. And the submissions demonstrate, they really show to visa officer that this function is essential, the function that the person will be doing, and this is significant to the achievement of organizational goals. Position operates at an executive level within the organization. That's the conclusion of the visa officer based on the submissions we gave. Of course, the educational background, Bachelor of Science, it's fitting too. So he has Bachelor of Science in that and is relevant to that area of his expertise. Proof of education is provided. Don't forget that. You may send the resume, but what is the backup? What is the evidence that whatever you say, here's the backup, here's the backup. So the evidence should be solid. Assessment of the startup company, that's another note. Submissions and organization history indicate that company is an active business. It's not something very passive. Remember, federal business immigration programs require you to be actively involved and your company to be active in times of when you are applying, right? Active participation is foregoing, it's in the foreseeable future, but the business is active, the incorporation has been done, the business plan has been prepared, and everything is done. It is just about to push the button, start button, so that the person can come and start working for the Canadian operations. Now, how they came to that conclusion that the business is active. Look at these 4 points. Business and staffing plan provided. Check mark. Proof of financial ability to compensate employees provided. Check mark. Parent company's list of employees provided. Check mark. It's not something empty. We are not speaking to a vacuum space. We are speaking to a visa officer. That's why we have to provide all of this. Proof of qualifying relationship provided. Check mark. So if you hit all these check marks, then I will come to more AI-based analysis very soon, briefly, because now all these check marks are being analyzed by human being, right? They are reading your submissions, they are doing their own personal analysis. But in the future, as we see where Immigration Canada is going, things may get very AI-based. It could be the Chinook, the software, it will be upgraded, it will be supported by AI, and so on. These check marks should be checked before you are issued a positive result. Okay, now at the end of the day, understand the visa officer needs to understand what is the transfer all about, how much compensation, duration, hours of work, and so on, the overtime rate, and overtime starts at what level, and so on. So why I'm putting these notes, these are rough notes from the officer, because these are why they are taking the notes, because they are important in the analysis. By reading the notes, you will realize that, oh wow, the officer is looking at that issue and this issue. So your application will be solid and bulletproof when you address all these concerns, because visa officer will not think on your behalf. The visa officer will not say, oh, by the way, Sobirovs Law Firm didn't mention this, but I think this will be so and so. No, they will not think on your behalf. They will think on the basis of the evidence that you provide. These are the check marks, okay? This is small paragraph relatively, but there's a lot of things going on in the officer's mind. So if you do an ICT and you're thinking about hiring a lawyer on ICT, intra-company transfer, address these issues, make your application strong, and if you need help, we are here to help. Okay, now that's the end of my presentation, almost 20 minutes. And here's an announcement. Sobirovs Law Firm is planning to come to India in spring, end of April, beginning of May. We haven't decided the exact date. However, you can go to the link under this video, and there is a link for our India tour. Go and register your interest, and I will show you here also. When you go to our India country guide, here we go. There's a link into this. Read this guide. This is the guide for you, for Indian business owners specifically. So here's a link. You can click this link, and this is our tour. Type your name, last name, email, and we are planning to do in Delhi, Ahmedabad, Bangalore, and Mumbai. Tell us your interests, and we are trying to bring as many speakers as possible for you to get the knowledge from them. And we will. You tell us about yourself. We will set up the date and do all the logistics as soon as possible, and then we will let you know the event details as soon as possible. Okay, because we are in the planning stage at the moment. But this guide, is very helpful because we share here our experience with dealing with Indian entrepreneurs. Okay, this is our statistics. This is not government statistics. So Make sure that you read it carefully in your leisure time, and also some success stories, samples. These are not all success stories because we cannot publish all success stories that we achieve for Indian entrepreneurs, but this gives you a gist of what we can do, and a little bit of snapshot of 9 steps of what to do in order to open a business in Canada from India. Now, let me come back to your questions, because traditionally, before I end my presentation, so make sure if you have any questions, book your consultation with us. 1 hour strategy meeting will give you a lot of substance, We'll answer all your questions, and your team is already in Canada. You have a Canadian team that will help you. We are one of the leading law firms, business immigration law firms, according to Legal 500 in Canada. We take care of you and we are open and transparent. If we can help you, we will say yes. If we cannot help you, we will say no, thank you very much. Here's your consultation fee refunded. Okay. We are if you don't see any value in consultation meeting after having a strategy meeting with us, we will refund your money. It's not a big deal for us. Okay. All right. Let's come to your questions. Please start typing your questions, and then I will delve into them. All right. Tahir Sen Shahin, greetings. Good evening from Turkey. Good evening to Turkey. I'm very sorry about the loss of innocent people in the earthquake. Our prayers and thoughts are with the people of Turkey, Syria, Lebanon, and everyone who is affected by that horrible event recently. I'm very sad because this is a time when people in Turkey and Syria and Lebanon, they need help. And I have recently, before this presentation, I've signed the petition to the House of Commons of Canada to allow Turkey to allow Canadian citizens of Turkish origin or Syrian origin, to allow them to bring their families to Canada. I really hope that Canadian government will soon do something substantial in order to bring those people to this beautiful country, to Canada, so that they can stay here in peace. Okay, here we go. There are some questions. Blessings, OCI, Afro Visa updates. Visa will be given to this business incorporation. I'm not sure I understood your question. Can you please clarify? Hardik Vyas, IT Consulting. Let me see. Does it require to have any Canadian citizen as a partner if we wish to establish the company in Calgary, Alberta? Okay, that's a good question. I'm not an Alberta-based lawyer. I don't know Albertan corporate law rules. However, there are certain provinces in Canada where if you incorporate a provincial corporation, some of them require Canadian director, some of them don't. For example, British Columbia, it doesn't require. Ontario has recently changed the regulations, the law, and they don't require Canadian. So it's not a big deal if you incorporate in BC, but you have office in Calgary, Alberta. Okay, and I will check whether Albertan corporations require a Canadian director or not. But there are ways around this requirement if they require. But again, I'm not a corporate lawyer in Alberta. In general, if you do a federal corporation, there is a requirement to have a Canadian director, but certain provincial corporations, they don't require Canadian director. So it's an easy obstacle to overcome. Bhupinder Nanda from New Delhi. Hi, Bhupinder. Good morning. Good evening to you. Good morning to us. Thank you very much. I hope you find this information, the presentation, helpful, and I hope one day we will see you in Canada. Thank you. Definitely we'll meet you in New Delhi. I hope so too. We are running with planning stage. I hope we can come up with the exact date, exact locations for our Indian seminars on business immigration. We will be in India. We will be just focusing on business immigration and investor immigration for entrepreneurs only, because that's our specialty. That's the only thing we do. We do business immigration and investor immigration at Sobirovs Law Firm, and also we help Canadian companies to bring tech talent and global talent in any field to Canada. So this is our specialty. Interested in business immigration? I regularly attend your live sessions. Yes, Bhupinder, I remember you. Thank you for attending. And if you have someone interested in these topics within your network, please feel free to share this information with them too. Okay? Thank you. Sridhar Rao, what are the basic differences between C12 and C11 work permit? Basic differences. First of all, C11 doesn't require you to have a parent company, right? The mother company outside of Canada. C12 is intra-company transfer, so by default there are more than one related corporations involved. And usually basic difference is C12 is usually issued for 1 year, whereas C11 significant benefit work permit is issued for 2 years. C12 is, I would compare, if we compare in terms of priorities, right? If my client is eligible and can do C12, I go with C12. Of course, C11 is not a bad work permit, but the threshold could be more significant, especially for the startup companies in Canada, right? So depending on the situation of the client and the objectives of the client, we recommend or don't recommend certain type of applications. C12 is perfect for those who have strong foreign operations and they want to expand their business into Canadian market. C11 usually for those who have, for example, startup visa, a work permit. In startup visa you apply for permanent residence, but also to work permits. That C11 work permit is applicable and suitable for that. So there are many differences. Depends on your priorities, the urgency of your case. C12s, they take less time in our practice. They are fast, because logically the C12 relies on the strength of the parent company, how big they are, how strong they are. Now they're expanding to Canadian market. Can they provide necessary means for the Canadian operations? So C11 is totally different logic, but as I said, there are technical differences and there are more, I would say, more immigration-oriented differences. Okay. Here we go. Thank you for your valuable input. Thank you very much. I've already signed up for your organizations recently and onboarding process is ongoing. Thank you very much, Hardik. I appreciate it. Because I, as a managing lawyer of the firm, I delegate my work to my experienced team and I have full trust that they take care of you very well. I hope we will see you in Canada very soon. By the way, to find out more about Sobirovs Law Firm, it's very easy to Google, and we have recently got very good positive reviews. While I wait for your questions, let me quickly go through the reviews. Recently, for example, Yash Maroli is from India. Let's go to the news. Leo, we helped a Russian citizen to immigrate to Canada through business immigration. Muhammad Ali is another great client of ours. Clients from Nigeria, Adenike is one of our clients from Nigeria, and we are looking forward to meeting them in person. Miss Taha is from Jordan. So there are a lot of good stories we are proud to share, and you can go and read it for yourself. Vijay Kumar, again, a great individual, a bright entrepreneur, experienced entrepreneur who will be landing in Canada very soon. I wish him a very safe flight from India. And Akram Muhammad and everybody else, these are our badges of honor. So when you go and check it, you probably will see their success stories in this success stories section. And read more, educate, because our philosophy at Sobirovs Law Firm is educated, knowledgeable client is the best client. That's why we put a lot of information on our website, on our social media platforms. Because once you make an informed decision, understanding all the risks, all the possible hiccups, let's say, of your future application, you will be prepared better. And better preparations means to us better result. So I hope these pieces of information that we create, content that we create, are useful for you. Thank you very much, Hardik. I really appreciate your inputs too, for your active participation. Thank you very much. So Bhupinder says, in India, my business turnover is 800,000. That's very good. So you could be potentially a good candidate for intra-company transfer. And intra-company transfer, again, federal business immigration program. You can be located anywhere other than Quebec. Quebec has its own rules, but intra-company transfer could be a good possibility, and your turnover is significant, and I congratulate you with this business. I'm sure you have built this business with resilience, with hard work, and many sleepless nights. As a business owner, I understand you. And employees 5 on payroll, that's good. That's good. We've done intra-company transfers with 3 people on a payroll. So 5 is good enough. For IT company, which location could be between Ottawa and Calgary? Oh, wow. That's a tough question. Now people from Alberta will either love me or hate me. I will be honest, and I will tell that both Ottawa and Calgary have very good IT clusters environment for your IT company. However, you should also think about Kitchener-Waterloo area. This is our Silicon Valley. You should also think about Vancouver, because that's where the gaming industry, visual effects, and all these industries. I'm not a specialist, so don't get me wrong. So look into many locations. Alberta, Calgary is up and coming because they don't want to rely on oil and gas all the time. They want to rely on something more promising, more sustainable, like IT. So that's why they came up with tech immigration programs and so on. Calgary is up and coming. Hardik, depends on what's your personal goals and business goals. I think both Ottawa and Calgary, as well as Kitchener-Waterloo area, Vancouver, even Montreal, offer very good environment for your IT company. That's why, and plus, in this Zoom-based world, we can do our business remotely from any location, right? You know better than me about this. But if you want to get in touch with the local, what we call economic development officers or local stakeholders across Canada, my team can help you. And ask them to hook you up with the local economic development officers, maybe get you more insights. But I think I cannot put Ottawa or Calgary above each other, so they are equally good. But again, the quality of life you want to get, where you want to live, in terms of weather, Ottawa and Calgary are the same. Calgary has a beautiful mountain very close to the city, and I love going to Calgary, to be honest. If I move outside of Toronto one day, I will probably move to either Vancouver, the BC province, or Alberta. That's my that's my personal view. So I think both cities are very well suited for your business. But again, look into the Kitchener, Waterloo, and BC at the same time. So Bhupinder is interested in buying medical equipments business. So wow, we need to. If you become our client one day, I don't know, we will help you to find the right business. However, here's a question to you, Bhupinder: is purchasing a business full cash, because the seller wants to be compensated 100%, right? Usually, most of the time. Is it better for you to spend right away to buy a business, or is it better for you to start slow with intra-company transfer, let's say, and start spending that money, let's say $200,000, slowly rather than in one transaction to buy the business? So these are these are pieces for your further contemplation, but that's what strategy meeting is all about with an immigration lawyer. What's the best? Is it from my perspective, spending money, the amount slowly is better option for me than right away. So it's up to you. It's a good area. Maybe buying an existing business has many advantages, and we have videos about that, whether to establish from scratch or buy an existing business. Okay. Here I'm doing medical equipment which high in demand. Yes, very good. By the way, Bhupinder, I'm sure you read this success story of our Punjabi business owner. He is also in medical area, in the medical area. So you can read his story, and this is what he basically said. Looking for an expert business immigration lawyer, and he found us. Thank you very much for him. So he is a manufacturer of essential medical supplies, including sterile liquids and so on, syringes, which are high demand these days. So this is a good story. I hope I will interview him when he lands in Canada, this client, and I'm going to bring his perspective, because as a lawyer I can speak for hours, promoting Canada, but as an entrepreneur who is doing the job on the ground, that's a different perspective, right? So that's why I bring entrepreneurs and give them the floor, give them the microphone for them to speak openly and transparently. It's not, we are not in a business of attracting people and let them fail. I want them to come to Canada and succeed. I don't want failed businesses. So I hope I will interview him when he comes to Canada, and it will be useful for you too. Okay, this is a very relevant question by Bhupinder. How long should we run parent company when I will move on ICT intra-company transfer basis? The parent company should always stay active and run and be selling goods and services, because that's the foundation of your Canadian corporation in a way, right? But you can change the headquarters as you wish. Maybe one day your Indian headquarters will not be the headquarters, but Canadian entity will be the headquarters. It's a corporate matter, which I'm sure we will find a solution for. Okay, that's good. All right. Yeah, your answer is I prefer one-shot payment. I see. Okay, that's Then buying a business, if you're ready to buy a business, we will be more than happy to help you and find the right business for purchase. Okay, I think today's topic was interesting. Again, quick reminder for you. We are coming to India. Hopefully, everything, I don't know. In this COVID world, I cannot say anything for sure. God willing, we will come to India in spring. So if you are interested to meet with us, there will be a small group of people that we can meet. entrepreneurs, investors, and people who can do business in Canada. So small group spaces are limited, unfortunately, because we want to make a more meaningful conversation. We want to have a meaningful conversation with Indian entrepreneurs. Send us your interest by filling up the form here. Go to our India page under Country Guides, Insights Country Guides India, right? And then there's a link here, the banner. Click on the banner and fill up this small form. We will keep you informed, okay? Sounds good. All right, it was a long session. Thank you very much for your active participation. I always enjoy talking to my audience. I hope you find this useful, and I really hope, regardless of the weather outside, there's a 22 centimeters of snow coming today, but regardless of the weather outside, you will come to Canada, you will love this country, and you will make this country stronger and more resilient. This is what businesses do when they come to Canada. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of the week. Send us your comments, subscribe to our channel, stay updated, and we will be here to help you. Bye-bye.